Greetings, welcome back to another video. This is gonna be Logs, the very last easy map in the game, so that is pretty hype. Unfortunately, been having some issues with the start here. I'm gonna talk a bit more about the strategy, but essentially, since it is the very last map, we're gonna be having some fun. It's more of a challenge as we attempt the 2-tower CHIMPS challenge, which is not difficult because you can make that challenge easy, but I want to use the super monkey, which I don't use very often, and in order to afford the super monkey, I sort of need something that can pop lead and does quite a bit of damage to Bloons early, but also later on, and that can also pop camos. So Sauda is kind of the logical choice with those factors in mind. So we're going to be using Sauda combined with the or the bottom tier dart monkey, the super monkey, I mean. Not the dart monkey, the super monkey. So that's gonna be great fun. Originally I wanted to do the anti-balloon, but the anti-balloon is a bit too ability heavy for my taste. You just need to constantly use the ability because that's where all the damage is, and while that's fun and all, I don't like that much, and I thought that the Dark Knight would be fun to use too. So that's what we are going to be doing. In the beginning, and what's been bothering me a little bit is that we need to use Sauda to survive quite a few rounds, I think until round 18, to be able to afford this price tag of 2,700, which is not as easy as it looks, because with Sauda, let's buy the ability, you can always not hit, like you can miss, you don't hit the yellow or whatever, and that can mean that you accidentally leak. So here, we use the ability there at the right time, so we pop yellow, pop everything else to ensure that we don't leak. But it's very easy to leak, particularly on round 16, I believe, and 15, where you have pinks and yellows, and suddenly they are able to escape. They don't get hit by Sauda, and that means that you end up leaking one balloon, because and if you don't use the ability at the right moment, you will leak like a red balloon or something. It has happened to me 3 times in a row right now, and it did not happen under the practice run I did, so that's very aggravating, but it is what it is. I thought it was fine to restart because, well, we are very early on in the video, and I don't want to be dying on the easiest of rounds here. So use the ability now just to cover this. Oh no, I'm an absolute moron. I used the ability at the wrong time. So that's what I'm telling you. You need to be using the ability at the right time. Now I'm not gonna restart. I've restarted 5 times now because of the same stupid mistake, because I'm talking so much. But essentially what you need to do is to hit the yellow balloon at the same time. And the yellow balloon is this fast enough to pop the blue? Yes, okay. That's all I wanted. So you need to pop both balloons there. A little bit of a tricky in a way. You need to use the ability exactly at the right timing. Let's see if I can use the ability in this intersection right here. That's not what I really wanted, but yeah, I think, okay, that was barely good enough. Okay. A little bit tricky there, but we got it. We got past 15. I'm gonna upgrade this so we can pop even more layers, which means that 16 is not an issue because we have an additional layer there. So now we're good to go. So that was a bit of an annoying start, but it's fine because it is just the very, very beginning. And once you get past that and you get the super monkey, you know, it's gonna be way, way easier. So a bit of an ability fest there to be able to afford the super monkey, but what do you expect? Sauda has been nerfed to the ground ever since, like every single update, like the last 4 updates, she's received some sort of nerf. It was at least, maybe it was 2 updates ago where she was like heavily nerfed in a way, like she wasn't as strong any longer by quite a significant amount, but that's not gonna take away the fact that she still is pretty decent, and in CHIMPS she has these overwhelming advantages of being so strong in the early game. Because what she does is that she pops camo, and she can also pop lead. We need to use the ability for lead, but she can pop lead. So that's quite huge, naturally. We're just gonna use the ability instantly. There we go. So we can pop the lead balloons. We don't have plasma vision yet. If you go for the anti-balloon, which I was originally gonna do, then you need to survive without lead popping for a long time. Actually until Tech Terror. So that is a very long time to survive without that ability. But the reason why is, well, because you need to have the bottom path super monkey so you can pop camo, because Sauda is gonna be unable to survive round 51. That's where she will need you to step in with a camo popping tower, and regardless if she was able to survive, since it's a 2-tower chimps challenge, you need to have a camo on the super monkey regardless, so you can survive the later stages with DDTs and all sorts of stuff. Otherwise, you would have to pick the ninja, so you could have something that could pop camo, but that wouldn't make any sense. So the anti-balloon, you would need to go for the bottom path, and that removes the lead popping abilities until you get Tech Terror and eventually the anti-balloon. So that's something to keep in mind. That's also why I like this a little bit more. Just easier, because we're using the bottom path anyway for our strategy, allowing us to get the plasma. I think it's better than the range. The range is not necessary because of the Alright, so not the Dark Knight, the one after that. Which one is that called? Yeah, Dark Champion. So the Dark Champion is what we're using, obviously. The Dark Knight is, I mean, it's good, but it's pretty bad still. It's only, upgrade is only 6k. And then the Dark Champion is a whopping 60k upgrade, which is absolutely crazy. So, yeah, that's something to keep in mind. But anyways, the Moab, not gonna be an issue. But yeah, I was talking about Sauda earlier, and the reason why is she's just so strong in chimps. Because she usually is able to survive round 6, 7, and 8, allowing you to pop, like, place down a tower. And you get, like, this great head start instead of having to place down these popping towers that are just there for placement reasons in the very early rounds. Like, you don't use those towers for anything later on. So that is why she is so good, and she has these abilities that cover the entire map. That's another huge advantage. And of course the biggest one, the camel popping, because you need something for round 24. And that's why Sauda is just incredible for chimps. But in some cases you just have to bite the bullet and realize that even her can't survive round 6, which happens later on. But that is for later stages though. And she is less strong, which still is quite decent late game, I would say. And especially the abilities, again, they are on lower cooldowns. They don't have the biggest cooldowns in the world. And still, I mean, she covers the entire map, so if you ever leak, you can use the abilities. And that is why she is so useful. And yeah, she is kind of unmatched in a way. Definitely what you want to do. The other tower that's a bit unmatched in most maps is the Ninja. Because the Ninja just pops everything early. And the Ninja has camo. And it is just overall very good. So the Ninja will also be able to take care of the Moab on round 40. So that's also very good. Like if you get a Bloon Jitsu, for instance, it's going to be a pretty solid starting tower for Bloons and even for Moabs. Just on everything, it's just okay, allowing you to save up for something that does more damage. So that's why that was the meta before, and I wouldn't say it still is, but I'm curious to see how far the Ninja Super Monkey strats with Elk is going to be doing on the more difficult maps, like let's say Cornfield or something. Which is technically one of the easier advanced maps, but still. We'll get there someday. Who knows when, though. Like, eventually I'll need to lock in. I need to take things a bit more seriously than right now. Like, the guides are kind of ass, of course, because I'm not being optimal, but you know, as I've said many times, I'm here to enjoy myself early on, and especially, you know, I don't take this YouTube stuff any seriously, so I'm not willing to deprive myself of having fun, but I will have to deprive myself of that a little later, though, because eventually, you know, those maps get extremely hard, and you need the super precise placements, and just such a real pain in the ass, but we'll deal with that as the time comes. That's far away still, luckily. But anyway, things are easy enough as we are saving up for the Dark Champion here on round 59. Not an issue at all. Maybe you wanna... We could potentially warp it over here just so we attack a bit earlier. But one thing to keep in mind is that it doesn't have the greatest of balloon popping abilities, meaning that 63 is actually a very serious threat. You have to be aware of that. So once 63 comes, we need to start going a little bit slower to ensure that we can actually pop everything. And even the purples here giving us some trouble, almost there. So as you can see, things are getting a little bit dicier than what they were a moment ago. So now comes round 63, and we get the Sauda's level 10 ability just in time. I'll place down the swords just because. Gotta move the Dark Drift again here, and things get a little bit closer, but still, the knockback effect's pretty good. Now we could use Sauda's ability, level 10 here, to take care of the other ceramics. And here we will be able to... The map is so long that we will be getting the other ability back up in time. We can also just use it right now if I want to pop some balloons. And we may even get level 10 again, but if we do not get that, we may have to warp to pop everything. I think we're fine. We are fine, but it is a little bit closer than what you would like it to be, you know? That is the trickiest round, I would say. Round 65 as well, because of the BFBs. I mean, the Dark Knight is very cheap, so we have 41k to spend here. Normally, if you want something that can last the first 80 rounds, you want something that's like 20k or something. It's not that cheap, but at the same time, it's not incredibly expensive. And it usually starts struggling once you get the super ceramics, which makes sense. There's a lot of balloons around 65, so we're going to be using Sauda's level 10, because why not? Yeah, so the balloons are kind of our biggest concern here. We are a little bit low on that, but we are getting closer to that 60k, and we're only 15k away right now. So that's pretty good. Pretty good. Okay, 66. So now everything is easy. There is this sort of rule that if you're able to beat 64 and 63 kind of seamlessly, you are good until... You can also beat 78. That's usually the rule. But, of course, that implies that you have camo for 78, but... Or maybe the rule is that you can survive until 78. Maybe that's the rule. At least it's something along those lines, that if you can survive those two rounds, or 63, 64, and 65, you are good for... until like 78. Usually that's kind of what I remember. And well, you could say I have sort of noticed that, but not really, because on the later stages you can die at rounds that you've never thought were possible to die on. It's so annoying. It's very stressful once you get to those really difficult maps, but we aren't there yet, so. The Sauda is getting even stronger, which is useful, because that means that it's harder for the balloons to leak. because she can take care of most balloons, but we are still we are leaking, so I need to be using Sauda's abilities. Does not surprise me, but she gets stronger, meaning that she pops more balloons, so we are technically increasing our damage. It's just not as noticeable, right? Because once we are saving up for something, we are not getting stronger. And we haven't upgraded anything in a long time now. But Sauda is getting a little stronger, so that is necessary as we deal with 2 BFBs here, but should be totally fine. The reason why 65 was such a challenge is just because of all of the balloons that followed with. If you get these group rushes, then the Dark Knight gets overwhelmed. Gets sort of pierce capped, which makes sense because it is, again, a fairly cheap tower. But the Dark Champion, on the other hand, is kind of worth the money. It's just very good. And it's gonna more or less be the only thing that we have, because the Legend on the Knight is far too expensive. But the Dark Champion will be able to carry us to round 100. And we will be instead saving up all of the extra money for Sauda instead to get her to level 20. So it's kind of GG already. I wouldn't say until we've gotten it, but now it's gonna be GG. The Dark Champion also gains the ability for you can teleport over the entire map. So if you badly need to pop something in another area, then you have the ability to do so, to move the tower. And that's why the range doesn't really matter. Like the range upgrade I was talking about, it's not that important because you have this telepathic ability. So, yay. Now it's just about Sauda. She is level 12, which is right on schedule, honestly, but we will be spending the money that we get to get her closer and closer to that threshold of level 20, where she gets really strong. At least the abilities and such just do way more damage. So again, it gets very hard to leak balloons, which is of course what we want. Okay, 79. As you can see, the Dark Champion is destroying everything in its way. And it will be for the most part. Even like COMGs. So we turn to him and all hope is lost. That is sort of true. The Legend of the Knight has this ability of blocking the exit. Like you have this, it creates this dark hole in a way that can contain a certain amount of balloons. I don't remember how many, but it can contain quite a large amount. And it also does way more damage as well, of course, with the price of 178k. Definitely one of the strongest towers in the game. So here's Sauda. That was... did I purchase that? Or I think I purchased that accidentally. Oh yeah, I purchased level 14. I think that's what happened. That's hilarious. Doesn't really matter though. Quite a hefty price, but that means that we will chill with the purchases. We're 17 rounds away and we only need 6 more levels, so that should be fine. 18k for the next upgrade. Once this round's over, 14k, so we could upgrade her now. Kind of want to wait with that one more round, then we will upgrade her to level 15. There we go. So she gets a pretty solid buff right now.
Looks like a troll.
As you can see, it's kind of expensive, so you kind of want to buy whenever you have the chance to do so, just so you can start saving up, because it gets a little bit, if you are slow with the purchases, it gets a bit too expensive. But this pace is okay. We're level 15 and we're at round 87. It's not too interesting to see what's going on the screen, because again, the Dark Champion is completely destroying everything here. Yeah, so she's now level 16. I think I'll get her to 20 in easily. 88, that should be good enough. Because technically it's like 4 levels, or yeah, 4 rounds per level, around there. But we'll see. We will see. It's gonna be sort of close. I think I may get her to 20 and like on round 99 or something. So here's round 90. Let's how we deal with DDTs. Completely destroyed, of course, because the Dark Champion has the ability to destroy all Bloon types. So, and just does a lot of damage. So it doesn't have any weaknesses per se. It just does a huge amount of damage. And it could have done even more if you had the ability to use the Alchemist and stuff, but of course it is the 2 Tower Chimps challenge, so we are not going to be bothering with any of that. There's round 92. Completely destroyed as well. Sauda has done quite a bit of popping. She does get quite strong, as I said. Here's round 93. DDTs are not a problem. It's gonna be tight with level 20, but I think I'll get it. I think I'll get it. So here's 94. Let's use the money. Spend the money. So round 94 completely destroyed, but things are getting a bit further. So the dark shift or whatever can seriously be considered as again, this range is kind of tiny, so it can definitely be something that we should consider. Here's 95. 95 should be very easy. We have a very strong DDT popping power. So there we go, that was not an issue at all. Here's 96. Gonna upgrade her to level 19. Gonna move the dark. I'm gonna use the darkshift. Perfect. Here's from 97. That's gonna be fairly easy. So yeah, we'll get her to level 20. Just barely, but good enough. Good enough, good enough. And that will take care of the 2 Tower Chimps challenge. I mean, I think it's a given that we are winning, but let's see how 98 goes. Can prepare the ability if we need to do so. Shouldn't really be necessary, but it's nice to do it if we have to. But it should be fine. We do have the damage. We do have the Moab damage here. Okay. That was a little scarier, but we have the Sauda ability too, so it's fine. And we get her now to level 20, perfect. Could have waited until this round was over to make it cheaper, but who cares? But anyway, Dark Shift again. Here's 99, easy with the DDT popping power, and here's gonna be round 100, so let's just Dark Shift so we can get a little bit of more Moab popping power. Let's Dark Shift. Perfect. Might as well do it again. Once it pops, you could use the Sauda ability, so you can see like how much stronger it has become. Okay, that was unnecessary, but okay. Here's the ability. Okay, that didn't really show much, but trust me, it is way stronger. And there we go. I almost leaked. I felt like I almost leaked there accidentally, but no, it was all good. It was all good. But anyway, that's it for 2 Tower Chimps. So fairly simple on this map, but fun to do with the Dark Monkey here with 1.7 million pops and 300k for Sauda here. The toughest section is definitely the beginning with all of the ability stuff, but just keep your wits about you, I guess, and you'll be fine. If necessary, you could even purchase the layer upgrade one round before. I think it's only 200 bucks. It's not that much of a price difference, and the extra damage in Sauda means that you can deal with the yellows without issues, in case you're interested in following the strategy. It is a log, so literally every strategy is going to be working well, so... but that's about it. So here we have now cleared out every single easy map in the game. And next up we will be moving on to Luminous Cove, which I haven't actually blackboarded yet, but yeah, we will be moving on to that one. And yeah, these maps here, I take a look at several of them. I don't like... I mean, I do like Sulphur Springs and Luminous Cove, but the others are some of my least favorites in the game. So, great start, but that's going to be in the next episode. I'm going to be dealing with the first intermediate maps. First of intermediate maps, and that's going to be great fun. So, hopefully see you guys then. This was the coverage on logs, and yeah, thanks for watching, and have a great day.